G'day folks, welcome to this playthrough of a very small scenario. This is the charge of the Texas Brigade through the cornfield. It is, let me bring up the scenario for you. It is scenario 4.1, a small scenario. Taking place at 7:15 a.m. through to 7:30 a.m. So just a two-turn scenario to get the basics of this system down. This is, of course, from None But Heroes, the first publication in the Line of Battle series, designed by Dean Essig and published by Multiman Publishing. This is from 2011. I've had it for many years. And I've never played it, so finally taking the opportunity to explore this and kind of wrap my head around it. This is a good scenario to start with because, well, two turns, the Texas Brigade begins in under attack orders. Basically, they have clear orders. Basically, let me read it to you. Hood is to attack to capture the cornfield, which runs basically along this line of hexes here. So they can secure these hexes. That's what they're striving to do to win. This is, disclaimer up front, this is my very first attempt to play Line of Battle. So this is going to be pretty rough. It might be a bit slow and clumsy, and I'm very, very likely to get things wrong. This is despite the fact that we're really not using too many orders. I don't have to worry about command and control. I don't have to worry about the whole attack recovery and fluke stoppage type of things. These are all additional rules that we'll encounter later on. For now, though, I think the main idea here is focus on movement, combat, firing, charging, dealing with movement and movement costs. I am using, so the game as published comes with version 1.0 of the rules. I am using version 2.0 of the series rules. And this also comes with a revised version of the charts and tables, which I'm also using. This is available from the Line of Battle forums in ComSyn World. This is important because this changes a lot of the rules around command radius and order delivery systems, plus I'm sure some other modifiers here and there. It also includes the wonderful slope table, which took me some time to figure out what on earth I was looking at. I also want to acknowledge some great videos on YouTube. I've put some, I will put some comments in the description. I lost the description because YouTube wouldn't let me go live. But there are some great videos by Nick Rosa. He's got a complete guide to Line of Battle videos, and they were brilliant. They're very long. The whole series of about 9 videos runs for about 5-6 hours. But if you're patient and watch through that, it's a very comprehensive guide. All right, folks. So let's get things started. Here we go. We have the Confederates with the initiative, and well, let's see what we do. We consult the sequence of play, and they do the command phase, orders, attack, recovery, fluke, stoppage. We don't have to worry about that. Straight to the activity phase, really, and movement and combat. So let's see how this actually works in practice. Incidentally, these are the headquarters. I'm not instructed to place these, but I've just kind of got them to the side. I wasn't exactly sure if they should go on, but I can't find anything to say they should be placed. We've got Hood here, we've got Hooker down here. First Corps, Hood's Corps, the Texan Brigade, and then we've got the 3rd Division of the 3rd Brigade of the 3rd Division of the 1st Corps under Anderson. We have the Iron Brigade of the 1st Corps, of the 1st Division of the 1st Corps under Gibbon. And we've got the 1st Division of the 1st Corps under Doubleday. And the 3rd, out on the left here, the 3rd Division of the 1st Corps under Meade. Okay. And the idea is to keep these formations together. The Union forces start off somewhat reduced. You can see they're down to 4 out of 6. The 6th Wisconsin are down to 2 out of 6. And the 9th Pennsylvania Reserve are down to 4 out of 5. So they've already taken some hits. Now, when charging, basically, which is kind of, I think, what the Texans here want to do, they continue charging basically in a straight line. So if they commence a charge and they charge straight down, they'll continue along that line, basically. So I think it's basically what they want to do. They want to charge. Give it a go, I guess, and see what happens. We might start with a charge on the 6th Wisconsin. So we've got Wofford's Brigade, basically, the Texan Brigade. We've got these guys here, 2 formations totaling 6 SPs. And they're trying to move. First of all, they're under move orders, so they can't fire. And they just want to go charging straight in. So first of all, if they're going to attempt to move adjacent to the Union-controlled hex, they need to make a check. It's on the closing roll table. It's based on their troop quality, which is A. Okay. This is modified if they have a 2 or more value morale value. So Wofford's morale is 3. So this is +1. That's it. I think it's guaranteed because they need a 2 or more +1 to the die roll. We'll give them at least a 2, but let's see what happens. It's a 6, so they well and truly succeed in closing. That's just to move into this hex, and they're bringing Wofford along with them. Okay, now they're in the hex. They want to charge. And again, they need to make another roll on the closing table. I think it's the same roll pretty much. So they roll 4. They succeed in charging. This is where I need to slow things down and work carefully through the charge rules. So you're straight to the action here with this scenario. Okay, so I've made my closing roll. I announce the charge, make a second charging roll. That's done. Okay. Now we get an opening volley. Now this is basically the defenders get a chance to, well, volley at the attackers as they come in. I need to find the opening volley table, which is right next to the closing table, which is very convenient. The range is charge range. Whew. And I don't think there are any column shifts, so it's not frontal artillery with canister. It's not from a wrecked unit. It is from a healthy 6th Wisconsin regiment rolling on that, just to show you the table here, is what we're looking at, the charge column of the opening volley. We roll a die. Ew, it's a 1, which will cause no losses on those Texans. The Texans feel pretty good about that. There's no loss, so I don't need to make a leader loss roll. So the charge continues. Let me double check. Yep, that's looking good so far. Okay, there are provided there are 4 or more SPs remaining, which there are. We've got 6 here. The defender must make. Oh, the defender takes 1 automatic SP loss, so they are down to 1 SP. Okay, they then make a morale check, applying additional charge modifiers. So we now shift to the morale table. Okay, so they have no leader with them. They subtract the, I believe it's the opposing leader's morale value. I need to double check this. Where does it say? I'm sure at this. When making the defender's morale check, both the attacking and defender's leading apply, subtract the defending leaders and add the attacking leaders' morale values. Well, Wofford has a morale value of 4. There's no defender here, so basically add 4 to their morale check. They are small. Hey, John, this is my very, very, very first moment of line of battle. I've got both this and Last Chance of Victory, and they've been sitting on my shelf literally for years and years and years. So finally getting them out and starting with the very first scenario of line of battle, of none but heroes, rather. Okay, so got a +4 modifier. They are small, I think. They are small. I don't know if small requires a shot and a target that is small. Yeah, 3 or less SPs is small. So they are small, so +1 for +5. Is your nephew Nick Rosa, John? I mentioned him earlier, and I've got a link in the other video to his playlist. Yeah, they were amazing. I've watched those. About 5.5, 6 hours worth of great detailed guides to the series. So that's really helped me make sense of a lot of this. So next time you see him, say thank you. I really appreciate what he's done. And it's helped me get my head around all these rules. The rules, I mean, I love, this is a Dean Essig design. I love Dean Essig designs, OCS, SCS, the Battalion Combat Series. The rules for this were pretty frustrating. It's just hard to get your head around all of the concepts. It's probably got one of the most complex line of sight systems that I've personally encountered in a game. And the whole order system really took a while to get my head around. But again, Nick's videos really helped. Okay, so sitting at +5, I believe that's it. They need to make a die roll now. Now their morale rating is A. They roll 2d6 +5. Oh, they're off the charts. That's an 11. +5 is, geez, that'll be a 16. So let's get things started. First of all, this is the result we're looking at. A all the way down here off the table. Looking at disorganization for a start. Actually, I'm not even going to bother. It's lost 2, so they're dead. So the Texans go charging in. Yep, wipe out the 6th Wisconsin. wrecked as well. Okay, how do you make that determination that they're wrecked? I can't see anything about wrecked. So they disorganised, they'd have to be back 3. And they would have suffered 2 losses. If they're less than half the strength, oh, of course, I've got to remember that. I did forget that rule. So if they're less than half the strength on the counter, they're considered wrecked. Does that include, I mean, these guys start off with just 2 steps in the scenario. If I've read that correctly, I'll double check that because it does seem a bit weird, down to 2 steps to start. Yeah, 2 steps. 6th Wisconsin down to just 2 steps. So would they start the scenario wrecked? Or would you treat the 2 as their starting point, and once they fall below that, they become wrecked? In any case, we can now advance after combat, and the attacking stack must advance. So what have they done? They've done... They were unless... okay, so they've come 1. This is a cornfield. This is clear, so it's just, I think, 2. Now, they're entering another hex, but I don't think they need to... so they have to keep moving through their centre front hex here. It applies to all movement and additional charge. No further facing changes are allowed. The movement is subject to all the normal movement rules and limitations, including closing rolls. Enemy zones of control don't restrict this movement. Yep, so I do need to make a closing roll for that. But again, good leadership. Looking basically at it's a 5, so it's pretty much guaranteed. And then they roll to close. Yeah, guaranteed. I mean, unless I roll a 0 on a d6, I think. I don't think a 1 is an automatic failure. So now we've got another charge. Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks for checking in. So yeah, these guys are actually C quality. 11th Pennsylvania Reserve, 3rd Brigade, 3rd Division, 1st Corps, under Anderson. And yeah, we can go through that charge process again. First of all, we make the opening volley. These guys, let's get that opening volley chart again. They roll, it's a 3, which is 1 step loss. Okay, so that's where I dig out these counters. So the Line of Battle series uses these counters to indicate sort of 5 strengths. So they're dropping down from the Texans, drop down from, oh actually, sorry, the two brigades there. So they drop down from a top brigade, a top regiment, drops down from a 4 to a 3. The 3 shows at the top where they're facing. You can see the line of troops along the front there. So they've taken a hit, but they're okay. We then make a leader loss check. So we've suffered a casualty in this unit, so we need to check for Wofford. This is going to be my first leader loss check. And I need to find the leader loss table. Bear with me a second. Hey Todd. Yeah, look, trying to get through these games. It's been a rough year. Haven't had much time to play, so I'm trying to make up for it. Here we go, leader loss table. Yeah, been playing a lot of Normandy games lately. I've got some more Normandy games coming. I recently placed a few more orders. And incidentally, today I placed some more orders for Dean Essig's. This is Dean Essig design. I ordered some more of his Battalion Combat Series titles, so I'm really keen for them to arrive and get them on the table as quickly as possible. So they'll probably, incidentally, I've got bayonets and tomahawks in the process of being set up over to the left. So that'll be next. I'm getting a 2-game system going on. Hey, Cataclysm now. I can blame you for the recent purchases of, what was that Ted Racer game on the Bulge? I saw your videos and bought that. And that got me interested in the Bulge. So I blame you for a lot of these purchases, Cataclysm now. I bought the game that you reviewed, and then I thought I need some more Bulge games. So I bought the Dean Essig last Blitzkrieg today after playing Enemy Action Our Dens and watching your videos. So thanks for that. Leader loss. All right, leader loss here. It is the attacker during a charge. So we roll, I believe, 2d6. It's a 9. Oh dear. It's a killed result. Ouch. Each side has a loss. Ouch. We lose Warford. He was providing some good benefits. All right, we flip him over to a replacement leader who is much, much worse. Ooh, did not expect that so early. That's a lesson. Leader down. Yeah. Okay. So the defender automatically now takes 1 SP of losses. So these guys drop down. The Deadly Woods, that's the one. Sorry, I just momentarily forgot the name. Hey, that's going to happen. The terrible tweezers. All right, so they're down to a strength of 3. And Battle for Normandy. Where did you buy it from, Todd? Noble Knight? It's about the only place I would find it. Okay, they've been reduced in strength. They now need to make a roll on the morale table. Now again, they are, I would like to find my other more reliable tweezers. These ones are just going to send counts flying. Yep, there you go. They are morale level C. So they are low, relatively low morale units. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, Warford has been killed, so he doesn't add his morale. We've got 0 morale here, 0 morale here. It is just, in fact, they're a small unit now because they are 3 SPs. I guess the question is, do you apply? Yeah. No, that's actually not bad. Yeah, could. That's very good, actually. It's only a little bit above brand new, given how rare it is. All right, so they just apply the +1 for being small. Level C, though, a roll of 8 +1 to 9 is going to cause 1 more step of losses. They are going to be shaken. And they're going to retreat to 1, 2. 200 unpunched and no expansion. I might have to have a look at that. And, okay, so what happens here? These guys have gone, where do they start? 1, here, 1, 2, 3, 4. They crossed a stone wall. I need to check the terrain effects for stone walls. Stone walls, I don't think have any effect on movement. Stream, creek, river, marsh. Stone walls have no effect on movement. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and Yeah, I'm growing. I used to not like bulge games. But the last few I've played, since Demi Action Ardennes came out, I played that, and then Ardennes 44, which is just brilliant, absolutely one of my favourite games. And I'm kind of been bitten. I used to own Bitter Woods and kind of wasn't interested and got rid of that. Kind of wish I had it back now. But we've got the last Blitzkrieg coming in, and I keep forgetting the title again. The Deadly Woods coming in, yeah. And I've even been looking at Decision Games' bold game. What is it called? Vakten Ride. Kind of looks really cool. So much detail. I've heard a lot of mixed things. This is a Joe Youst design. Joe Youst. Sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. A lot of mixed things about that, the GOS system, but I am curious. So I think these guys are going to stop. They have captured the woods. Actually, I believe they need to move one more hex to the next. Ooh, what do they do here? I think they need, let me double check the scenario rules. They may, okay, they take and hold any hex north of row 21. Okay, so they're in row 20. North, so they have to move into the hex and then move beyond as well. And hold it. That's going to be difficult, right? Lead it down. All I have to do is take and hold. Take and hold. Do I just charge in? It's hard to kind of conceptualize this. This is all happening simultaneously, and I mean, let's say these two advance, and this charge here fails. Maybe I should have the more difficult one first, see what happens. But anyway, what do we got back here in reserve? Artillery, okay. I think I might just hold. Well, they're going to be in a zone of control, which creates other additional rules. They can't withdraw now. They're going to be locked in unless I keep charging. And this is where the kind of tactical considerations are, like grasping the rules and how. So basically, if I stop here, I'll be in their zone of control. I'll have to stop, be locked into combat for the rest of the scenario, basically. I can charge, but there's a negative modifier, -3 modifier. Or, because of the rules for charging, I can actually continue the charge, drive right down here, but then they're kind of deep in these Union lines. And would just be surrounded by these Union forces. Artillery could get point-blank range shot. But then, that's ultimately my objective. So do I just rush? It's only 2 turns as well. Let's do it. I'm going to rush down, rush down. I believe that's correct. So they've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're in line, so that's the movement allowance. Oh, if you haven't, I don't know, have you tried Ardennes 44 before, Todd? Make sure you get the 3rd edition if you can. It's a couple of really good upgrades. Now, we'll charge with these guys. So they have to first enter the hex. They succeed. They need to now charge. I believe that is a success. This is looking at the closing table. They're an A morale unit. They need a 2 or more. They're not shaken. They're not charging artillery. So that is a success. 2 or more with an A ranked unit. So they charge. We then get opening fire. and they will roll on the charge table, needing basically 3 or more to score a hit. Oh, that's going to be 2, no, just 1 hit on those Texans. So they are down to 3 SPs. Now the defenders automatically take a step loss. They're down to 3. Not yet wrecked because they're not below half. They're at half, but I think you have to be below half to be wrecked. Now, basically, these guys make a morale check, a morale check, and we find that they are an A-ranked unit. So this could be the 2nd Wisconsin Iron Brigade. Here we go. Not many modifiers apply here. They are small, so +1, but that's it. A roll of 4, 5 is going to have no effect. Okay. Now, they're dead. Now. I can what? I can, it's 3 on 3 here now. What next? Some big Mississippi regiments down the back here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I can't do that. This is the border of the scenario. I'm kind of thinking they're reduced as well down to 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's do this. This is going to be a massive stack. Do I bring them all down? Advance. Yeah, look, I'd love to get to that great campaigns of the American Civil War series. They're just very expensive titles. Which kind of, I mean, the exchange rate, what I love, and the reason I've been buying games is the Australian to US dollar exchange rate is changing. We're up to about 75 cents for your dollar now, so whereas a year ago it was 50 cents. So whereas I used to basically double the price for games, now I just add a third, I think, if I'm doing that right. Yeah. Charge, okay, full complement. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do I push Pennsylvania out of the way? Do I push these guys, or do I try to do both? Let's try and do both. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, actually, hold on. They've got a couple of things to think about here. So if they enter this hex, they're in an enemy zone of control and must stop. So it may be better to send them out to the right side of the cornfield and support this more advanced unit. So they kind of, what's the word for it? They shimmy to the right or their left. They could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll to close. Success. Roll to charge. Success. Opening volley. Okay, let's check that opening volley table. Charge column. A roll of 2 is going to have no effect. So the defender takes 1 SP loss, down to 3, and they make a morale check using the additional charge modifiers. Okay, morale. Additional charge modifiers. Where are the additional charge modifiers? Maybe I haven't been applying those additional. Where are the additional charge modifiers? I've made some mistakes in the charges. Okay, so I've missed the additional charge modifiers based on attack differentials. I mean, these guys only rolled a 5. 5. And it's 3 to 3. The SP differential is about the same. So yeah, I don't think there's any modifiers to that anyway. In this combat, we've got 7 now on 3. So they're bigger. So it's a -1 charge modifier to defender. Oh, the larger side is the attacker. So it's a +2 modifier. Okay, +2, +1, because they're now small, so it's going to be +3 to the morale check. They are class B, so we're looking, these are the charts I'm looking at. We're looking at additional charge modifiers. The SP differential is 7 to 3, so it's bigger. The attacker is bigger, it's a +2 modifier, and they are now small, so +1, so +3 to that B column. A 3 +3 is 6, is no effect, unfortunately. What do I do now? 1, 2, 3, 4. I could just, can I, what I'm wondering is, can I charge? I don't think I can. I don't think I can begin a charge in a hex that is friendly occupied. I'm pretty sure I read that. So these guys can't come across them down through here. And then if they come in through here, they could kind of pivot. They could go 1, 2, 3. Roll to close. Success. 4. Roll to charge. Success. We make an opening volley with these guys. They are being charged. They get a hit on the, this is the 11th Mississippi. Yeah, I agree with you, Pony Rider. I'm trying to move more towards systems. So this, like I said, I've got the Battalion Combat Series coming in. I want to get back to GTS and CSS. I actually had Montelimar out the other day. I opened the box and I realised I hadn't punched it. I was just like, I'll try and do that in some downtime and get it back out. This I've had for years. 2011 publication. It's been 10 years now and I still haven't played it, so it's about time. So they take a step loss. There's no leaders, so no leader loss check. Defender now takes 1 SP loss, and they are now wrecked because they are now at less than 50%. I'm just looking. I don't know if there is a wrecked counter. How do you? Let me double check the rules for wrecked status. I don't even know where it would be. Morale checks, wrecked status. Okay, here we go. Okay, a wrecked unit cannot pass a closing roll. It applies a morale table modifier to their stack, and they apply a shift on the opening volley table. Okay, there's no actual, at least that I can see, no marker to indicate that they are wrecked as such. But they are. Now they make a defender morale check, and we're looking at, oops, 4 versus 2. So they are still about the same. So there's only a +1 modifier, but +3 because they're wrecked is +4, and +1 because they're small is +5. So it's a +5 modifier. They are lucky to be A rated, and they roll an 8 + 5. It's going to push them up to 13. That's 1 loss. Back 3. 1, 2, 3. Actually, you go back 3 first. First of all, you do disorganize first, back 3, and then the 1 loss. And the sequence there is important. I don't know why. I did read about it. They didn't retreat. They didn't rout. They didn't retreat into an enemy zone of control. Small units, it's not a retreat, so I don't have to worry about that. So I think they're okay. Disorganized, shaken. And these guys can advance. Where did they start? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was pretty much the extent of their movement. Now we still have this 4th Texas Regiment up the back here. Oh, Devil's Cauldron! Wow, yeah. Look, I'd love. It's a shame they kind of cancelled that Magnificent Disaster. Would have been really nice to have that upgraded to version 2 of the rules. I was thinking about this just last night. Actually, I'd love to play GTS. I'd love to play Devil's Cauldron, but it's going to be hard to forget the version 2 of the rules, and to kind of what do you call it? Retrograde my understanding of how it all works. To go back to version 1 to play Devil's Cauldron. Yeah, I don't know. I want to, but it'd have to be on Vassal as well. I don't have the footprint to set it up. Now, I've got these guys kind of here. What do I do with them? I'm having a lot of luck with these this Texas Brigade charging. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I go 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't do that. 1, 4, 5. Could charge into Gibbons Battery out on the right. Let's give that a go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to make a roll to get into there. Successful. 5. Now I make a roll to charge. 6. They succeed. We do an opening volley. Oh, actually, this is it'd be an extra modifier because of the artillery, but with a 6, they'll definitely pass. An opening volley with artillery under Gibbon. This could hurt. It's pretty small. 4 SPs in this unit as well. So it shifts 1 column to the right. Look at that charge column, but with 1 to the right because it's a frontal artillery with canister. And they roll a 5, pushes up to 6 for 2 SP losses on the poor Texans. Okay. Yeah, righto. We now take 1 defender SP loss. So that's a strong battery. They are down to 5. I feel like I could do something wrong here because this is a battery instead of an infantry regiment. Now they've taken a loss, so we do a leader loss, but the attacker is small. No, they weren't small when they caused the leader loss. So they do a leader loss check. Just double checking they're not in, yep, they're behind some hay bales, incidentally. We do a leader loss check. This is the charged defender. A 5 has no effect. Yep. Now they make a defender morale check. The defender is actually bigger. 5 to 2, which is a difference of 3. So they get a -1 modifier. Their artillery, so +1. So it's just a basic roll. And they roll an 8, and their morale, I should have checked first, is A. So an A8 is no effect. And they're sitting, those poor Texans are sitting right in front of that artillery. Then, don't know what to do with Hood, but we'll bring him up. I don't really know what Hood would do in this scenario apart from get into the front lines and try and use his morale modifier to charge through that cornfield. If this was a bigger battle, I most certainly would not do that, but just to demonstrate how leaders work, and given it's only 2 turns, I think he has to do that, right? So Hood gallops to the front to help the Texas Brigade out. We now do our rally phase. We rally, everyone's okay. We remove counter battery fire markers. There's no batteries for the Confederates. We do loss recovery on the midnight turn. It's not midnight. And then we head to the second player turn, the Union. Their orders, they have no orders, I believe. The scenario instructions indicate that they have no orders, but counterattacks are allowed throughout the play area. So they want to hold, basically, the cornfield and prevent the Confederates from seizing control of this area. So it kind of means that they're allowed to, counterattack, but shaken and disorganised and facing this way doesn't provide many opportunities. This is also, they're on 3, 4, 5. So it's a pretty decent Texan stack there. Shaken with a strength of 2, disorganised with a strength of 1. They won't rally until they'll rally to shaken. They'll rally to healthy or normal. What are we going to do with these Texans? Do we charge back? I think we've got 2 strength left. Let's start with some canister shot from Campbell's battery. This is the 1st Division of the 1st Corps. I think that's what the numbers mean. So we've done a lot of movement among the Texans, but now we're actually doing some firing activations. The units can, under the fire action or mode, I don't know what you call it, it's the units either move or fire, basically. Activity, they choose a fire activity or a move activity. So this battery is choosing to fire. And there are a lot of modifiers and column shifts for this. What we're looking at here, under given, is a Napoleon artillery battery, has a range of 16, dense canister type. What do I need to consider? Point blank range, five SPs firing. I think I'll double check the rules, make sure I don't do anything wrong here. Combat. If a unit has expended movement points, yeah, thanks occasional gamer, take care. If the formation active player has expended movement points, their opponent gets an opening volley. It's not the case here, it's a static battery. So I need to look at column shift. We've got 5 SPs firing. 5 SPs. We've got dense canister. There's a minimum threshold. I'm pretty sure with 5 they meet that threshold. A lot of the weapon effects, a lot of the column shifts have minimum thresholds required. Here we go. So with 5 SPs shooting, you need at least 2. That's, I think, in the case of mixed sort of mixed stacks. So dense canister, 2 shifts to the right. So we're looking at combat table, 4 to 5 column, 2 shifts to the right, shift it to the A column, which is pretty good. Looks like a pretty good column. I don't think there are any other shifts. It's close range, so there's no shifts to the left for this artillery. This is the chart I'm looking at here. So look at artillery, 1 to 5, no shift, but we do have dense canister, 2 to the right, at up to 3 range. They're adjacent, so that's fine. They're not in the rear, not DG. Yep. So we're looking at the A column, which is this firing column here. We've gone from 4 to 5, 2 to the right to A. We roll 2 die, and we get a 10, which is 2 step losses, which blows the poor 4th Texans off the battlefield. It's the dangers in trying to charge. 1st Division, 1st Corps Artillery. Now, these guys might also take a shot. Oh look, Battle Hymn, Pony Road. Battle Hymn is a really easy game to get to the table. Very playable, very quick. Pretty easy to grasp, really good tense back and forth, very good for solo play as well. Clash of Giants, I haven't played the Civil War version, but I've played the other First World War version, more traditional hex encounter. I mean, Battle Hymn is based on Eric Lee Smith's Across 5 Aprils? So it's based on an older system, but it really feels, new and modern and fast playing. I've got some, I did some sort of reports on it years ago, but pretty easy to play. All right, I think the Texans might be in a bit of trouble. What are we going to do? We're going to do these guys. They're going to shoot. They're using smoothbore muskets, which don't really provide much of a column shift. They'll have a shot anyway. It's 3 SPs firing. They're at range 1, so there's no sort of column shift for range. Smoothbores don't add any column shift. The corn, what are we looking at here? We've got just an open cornfield, which doesn't apply any combat effect. So we're just looking at 2d6, 9. is going to cause a step loss. Oh, that's a big regiment too. Okay. So roll of 9 on the 2 to 3 column. Just double checking that. Yep, 3 is going to cause a step loss. And they make a morale check as well. They are, what are they, A quality. That's going to be it pretty much. A quality, roll of 4. Ooh, bloodlust. Only if a checking stack is adjacent. Ooh. Bloodlust, which is good for the Texans. They basically, what they ignore, I think they ignore step losses in some circumstances. I didn't check the rules for what bloodlust does, but it's really, well, just reading through the rules earlier, I was like, wow, that's great. The unit gets a free pass on closing rolls, must ignore any retreat or loss results. Ignore loss results from the morale table, but it's otherwise normal. So they're really good for charging. So straight back into that regiment. You can see what's going to happen in the next Texan turn. That'd be good to see Cataclysm now, yeah. Curious to see how it ported to the Civil War era. So they're fired. What do we do? We can rotate these guys. Okay, these guys might charge. Do we counter-charge Texans? I think we do. So 1, 2, they've got a roll to close. They fail. 1, 2. Now, in these circumstances, this was a move action that they failed to close. When that happens, they can convert their move activity to a fire activity. They've expended less than half their movement, so they can treat this as stopping and then firing. So now they're firing with their rifled muskets at a range of 2. That's going to cause them, they're only strength 3 as well, so it'll be 2 to 3 column, 1 to the left, because it's small arms at range 2, but a rifled musket won't have any other effects. It's actually along the hex side, so it's actually technically, I believe this counts as being in the rear. It's a bit tricky, but here we go. This is a summary of the unit facing. So you can see any fire coming in from the side technically hits them in the rear, and they're facing that way. Of course, this is kind of coming along this hex side. Yeah, I think they hit technically in the rear, which is a +2 column shift for a net of +1, which brings up to the 4 to 5 column. We roll a die and get a 10. So 4 to 5, 10 is actually another step loss for these poor Texans. They are now not quite wrecked. So still strength 4 in that hex. Okay. So they've gone. We might hold Phelps's brigade for later and see what we can do with this this shaken unit. I'm just trying to figure out what a shaken unit, how it will be penalised. I think it's a modifier, a few modifiers, but otherwise normal. Yep. Okay, so it's going to be a couple of modifiers, I think. they've got only 2 factors firing, not moving, just firing. 2 combat factors, so 2 to 3 column at range 1. They're using smoothbore muskets. I don't think there's any modifiers for being shaken whilst shooting. Not that I can see anyway. So it's just going to be the 2 to 3 column. Roll of 9 is going to be another hit. And now the Texans are shattered. Now in terms of resolving hits, I think most of the time you do it on the top unit. If there are multiple hits coming in at once, you distribute them. Okay, combat table, weapon characteristics, step losses. Yeah, I can't see it listed there. But 1 step loss and morale check. So here they are. They're down to basically 3. Those top guys are wrecked and they're still on top. So the morale, back to the morale table. They are, YouTube has cost everyone a bucket of money. A ranked for morale. They are +3 for being wrecked. Now +1 for being small, so +4. But they're about the same. Yep, so +4 to a roll of 11. My God, they're in trouble. So they are disorganized. I'll keep the Texans out of that area. They go back 3, 1, 2, 3, and they suffer 2 step losses. That means they are wiped out because they've only got 1 left. And they are down to 1 loss. And they of course have their replacement leader who takes a leader loss check. A roll of 7 is no effect. Ooh, okay. Now, let's see, this shaky legs, let's see, cowardly legs, here we go. When an attack retreats for any reason, or is destroyed because of combat table and or morale table results, place a cowardly legs marker in the hex where this occurred, where the retreat began. So basically we place this cowardly legs marker. I think I should have played a few of these earlier. I think there should have been a Union one, certainly maybe around this area. So whenever there's a retreat, not an R route result, but just any retreat, you place these cowardly legs marker. That should be facing Confederate side. And it applies modifiers to morale checks in or adjacent to the hex. So any Confederate morale checks here would suffer sort of negative morale modifiers. Any Union checks, morale checks from around, I think this area should have done that. So that was a rule that I missed. Would have added a few modifiers. Incidentally, what are those modifiers? +1. So subtle change to those morale checks. From memory, most of the ones that failed were convincing failures. The ones that passed were convincing passes. So nothing was really a line ball result. So I don't think it would have been of any consequence. Okay, what do we got left? Look, so it's interesting. The rule, you kind of, a lot of this game is about playing in the spirit of the period and the rules. So the Union is on the defensive. They're under sort of defensive orders to hold the northern side of the cornfield. They're not under orders to attack. So they don't want to sort of launch an offensive. They just want to kind of hold their positions, basically, which is what they're doing. It would be, I think, not in the spirit of their position for example, the Pen Reserve to begin shifting forward and counterattacking. I think, though, it's acceptable for Phelps's brigade to shift up into there and then have a shot at these guys. That seems to be, they're holding their defensive position, holding the line, filling the gap created by this retreat, and taking a pot shot at these guys with one step left. They are a 4 strength. This is a sort of makeshift brigade with rifled muskets. It is, so when I say 4 strength, so these are 4 to 5 column. 1 to the left is 3. Target is disorganized, so it goes back up to the 4 to 5. Yep, and we roll a 2, which is not going to have any result at all. Then, what else we got? We've got a battery here. Last pretty much, oh, actually, there's a few more around to the right here. Actually, these guys are at range 2 as well, so we can keep shooting. Just probably not with much more effect. We've got these guys here. They're at strength 4, that's a Napoleon. So, range 2, okay, so canister, oh. Yeah, I've got to remember about artillery ammunition. I don't recall what I rolled on that artillery combat table. I've got to watch that. It can deplete canister or ammunition generally. So let's keep an eye. Can I keep an eye on that? So strength 4 SPs, using canister. This is Napoleon, so it's dense canister to the right. So we go from 4 to 5 up to the A column again. Targeting this unit here. The cornfield doesn't affect line of sight, incidentally, just in case anyone's wondering. The A column, I believe that's it. It is not in the rear, so rolling 2 dice, getting, oh my god. A 12 is going to cause 3 step losses. They are wrecked. Oh, wow. That depletes the canister, but so they can resupply. I'm running through this, it doesn't matter in this scenario, but they can resupply by caisson. They're not under, what are the rules? Let me just going to double check this again. It doesn't really apply in this scenario and its sort of context and sort of limited scope, but I just want to double check it all, so I'm playing it all right. I rolled a 12, and on this, basically, if you look at the combat table, there are coloured, this is the column we're using, so 12 is 3 step losses and morale check, and when you roll anything in the brown column, the depletion of whatever type of ammunition is being used. So I was using that, yeah, so basically you'd have ammunition on the wagons. That would be depleted, but I can sort of immediately resupply. Where's the replenishment rules? Here we go. By caisson is not possible when the wagons are unavailable or are over 25 movement points away. The wagon has insufficient ammunition of the right type. The battery's hex contains a counter battery fire marker, or the battery is in an enemy zone of control. I mean, I think the idea for this scenario is that the wagons are somewhere nearby. You kind of abstract that, you don't really think about it. Ignore all depletion results. It's a scenario-specific rule. Here we go. So I will ignore that depletion result. Now you guys are all lucky. You're all in North America. It's it costs the price. So first of all, whatever you pay for a war game, add about a third for currency conversion, and then pay about the same price again to ship it over here. And it's why we tend to, I tend to make maybe three purchases a year and buy these games in bulk. Basically, the Australian war game retail market is dead. We used to have a shop called Mill Sims. We had a couple of shops. We had a shop called Tin Soldier in Sydney and Mill Sims down in Melbourne. And they both sold a lot of war games. Tin Soldier was great because it was just around the corner from where I worked. You could buy a lot of stuff. Tin Soldier went out of business roughly 10 years ago, and Mill Sims was sold out to another board game retailer who shifted it away from, ironically, military simulations and towards party games and Euro games. So this great company, Mill Sims, now doesn't sell many Mill Sims. They still do have some, but yeah, and they will order stuff in, but they charge an arm and a leg. Fire. These guys are fired. They are shattered. Morale check. They have, you can't imagine them wanting to stand around there and get battered like that. They're still A rated. They are wrecked. They are small, and they've been hit by artillery. So +5. I rolled a 4. He's going to give them 9, and they'll survive remarkably. Yeah, there you go. They are still standing, but here we go. The 12th Pennsylvania Reserve. Opportunity to charge here. I could sort of shift around and... No, I said I wasn't going to do that. This is where you've got to kind of think about what is Hooker wanting these guys to do? What is Anderson doing with his formations and Doubleday? What is it? It's Doubleday's division, isn't it? So they're going to have a shot at with 3 SPs at range 2. So that'll push me from the 3 down to the 1. Into, incidentally, the rear of this unit. Following the hex side along, it is into the rear, so it goes back up to 2 to 3. 4 is not going to do anything, so no effect. Now, I've got these Union forces over here. They may as well rotate and fire. It's a rifled musket at range, hitting in the rear. So it's going to be 4, 1 to the left, 2 to the right, pushing up to 6 to 8. A roll of 5 is a morale check on these guys. Now they don't ignore all morale checks. They just ignore morale checks. They ignore retreat results. Let's see what they get. So it is a bloodlusted A-ranked unit. Rolling an 8, they're fine. Yep. This unit here will also rotate, take a shot at this disorganized unit if they can make it. Yeah, rifled muskets at a range of 3. Shifts them to the left, so I've got strength 4, 2 to the left, but shooting to the rear of a disorganized unit is then 3 to the right. +2 for rear, +1 for right. Shifts them back up to 6 to 8. A roll of 7 on the 6 to 8 will cause a step loss, which will wipe them out. It's another Texas regiment down. Leader loss. Here we are. Leader loss table. A 5 is going to have no effect. So he survives. And I guess the question is, what happens to leaders when their formations are wiped out. There's a whole, if all the combat units are destroyed, to place them to any hex of their organisation. Well, there you go, that's what I've done. But really, after just one turn, it's looking really bad for the Texans. It was looking good, and then this Union counterattack, limited counterattack, I should say, as well, just retaking their ground. So this is the end of the Union turn. They have their rally phase. They rally. They shift to shaken. And we advance the turn marker. So it is now 7:30 a.m. on the 17th of September. And let's see, Confederates to go first. They don't have a lot left. Look at that. 3, 4, and a big 6 there. 10 strength points left. This bloodlusted unit absolutely has to charge. They automatically pass their closing roll. Oh, sorry, first of all, command phase, orders check, attack recovery check, fluke stoppage check. We don't have to worry about this in this scenario, just running through that. Then we get to the activity phase where we can activate our formations. They are going to do a move action and they're going to charge straight in. They pass their closing roll automatically. So we can do our opening volley. Now I wonder, I know these are the guys being attacked, but can I do my opening volley from anywhere? Now, for example, the big artillery battery just off to the right with canister. Can they do it? Let's check the opening volley section. So each announced any charge generates an opening volley. There must be at least one inactive combat unit of any type that could fire at the firing stack. No further than 3 hexes away. Yeah, no matter how many stacks could provide an opening volley, only one makes a roll. The unit providing the opening volley need not be in the actual target hex. So that means basically that the artillery off to the right here can do an opening volley in support of this infantry, and they will, because they have a strength of 5 and they're firing their Napoleons with canister point blank at this strong unit. Yep. So it is 5, 6 to the right, which brings me back to the A column, and let's see how we go. A roll of 10 is going to cause 2 losses, and again will cause depletion, which we're not checking for. So 2 losses brings them down to 4. Ouch, says the Texans. They also must make a morale check. Yep. So they are not yet wrecked, but very close to it. Their starting strength was 7. They're on 4, so one more hit, they're in trouble. So it's just +1 because of the artillery fire and a roll of what's their morale? It's A, right? Yep. So 7 is going to cause no effect on their morale. But you must remember, we had an eliminated unit here, which would cause cowardly legs. That's a +1 for that cowardly legs, which is 8, still no effect. We then go to the defender, resume the charge. They shift down to 2. They are now wrecked. And they make a morale check. And this is going to be trouble because they're wrecked. And what else? They're wrecked. They're small. So it's going to be a +4 modifier to their B morale. Ooh, it's huge. 11 plus, what did I say, 4, shifts it off the chart. They rout. It's our first rout. Okay. They go back 6 off the battlefield. Basically, they're gone. They lose 2, so they're wiped out. And here we go. Bloodlust. 1, 2, 3. Take and hold that ground. Yeah, charging towards the North Woods down here. They can't charge anymore. They've got a retained facing, follow that line, but they're doing it, causing some trouble behind the lines for Union forces. Next formation. There's strength 4, that's the battery. There's strength 3, that's a battery. I can't do much with one SP, can I? But I think I've got to try support. Who is this? What is this formation that's done so well? This is the Mississippi, right? The 2nd Mississippi. Right, let's bring these guys down. 1, 2, they've got to roll to close. Success. 2, roll to close. Success. Opening volley is going to be 3 SPs. What are they, rifled? So no modifiers for that. It's just going to be the 3 to 5. 8, 3 to 5, 8 is a morale check. Sorry, 2 to 3, 8 is a morale check. I'm pretty confident these guys with hood will pass with flying colours. Yep, I rolled a 5, so they're going to pass, no worries. The charge causes a defender step loss, and they're down to 2 versus 3, so they are about the same. So it's a +1 modifier, +4 for hood, which is 5, 6 because they're small, so, and they're B rated. Oh, they're lucky they rolled low. That brings it up to 9, causes a shaken and a back 1 result, which causes some Union cavalry legs. Now, how far have these guys moved? 1, 2, no, 1, 2. They will continue. Success 4. They will charge, succeed into here. Interesting. I mean, despite being absolutely smashed, the Confederates are keeping at it. Hoods had to come into the line. Again, not ruling out the possibility that I'm playing something terribly wrong here, but they are following their orders. Opening volley. All right, so let's have a look at this opening volley. You can fire with up to 8 SPs from hex, and you can combine different formations. So we've got this battery, actually. It's a battery. They've ran right into a battery. I didn't realise. Oh, I can't actually, I can't do that. They can't retreat into a battery. They have to keep retreating. 1 additional hex, I believe. You can't stop, you can't basically stack artillery and infantry together. And I believe I'm trying to go off memory here. I think they retreat 1 additional hex. This is something, again, that could be completely wrong. 3.2D. Artillery can't stack with other combat units. If forced to retreat, it can end stacked with other types. No other unit can end a retreat stacked with artillery. Those units extend the retreat to avoid such stacking. It has no retreat on the artillery. So they've got to stop there. But these guys will continue, of course. They've already rolled for their closing. Where were those cavalry legs? It was Union cavalry legs there, I think. Okay. So the charge continues against Matthews. This is now looking at the 2nd division of the 1st Corps out the left. And this is where the scenario basically cuts off. So there were other forces out here not covered. We do our opening battery volley. These are, what's this, a rifled cannon at point blank range using normal canister. So it's just a one to the right. So 4 SPs firing, shifting one to the right is the 6 to 8 column. Let's see how they go. 6 to 8, 7 is going to cause a step loss. These guys will take a hit, not wrecked yet. Now the battery automatically takes a hit. They're now down to 3 SPs. They're still a larger force though. So, but Hood is really intimidating these gunners charging along with the infantry. So they need to make a morale check. They're C rated. This is not a relatively brave battery. C rated. They, what are they? Cowardly legs +1, +4 for Hood. Yeah, +5 on a C rated. They roll a 9, brings them up to 14. So they rout off the field and lose 4 steps as well. So that's a dead battery. And wow, I can't believe the Confederates are actually seem to be doing this. They can keep going. They're in a line. They're going to keep driving. Can I attack the unit that routed before? Okay, advance, pay normal cost, retain facing. There's no additional closing roll to enter that hex. After this advance, I can move. I can't change facing. I think I can charge the guys who were now shaken. They've kind of fallen back, regrouped a little bit. Battery's been wiped out by this amazing 1st Texan Regiment with 2 SPs left. They've only got 2 firing SPs. These guys, how many have they got? 1, so they're not in a position to help out. Let's, I'm pretty sure they're going to pass their roll to close. Yep, they're guaranteed pretty much with Hood there. A ranked, A quality. So, opening volley. 2 SPs with rifled muskets. Just a 2 to 3 column. 4 is not going to do any effect on the Confederates. So the defenders will automatically take a step loss. They are now wrecked because they're already wrecked, sorry. So they're in trouble. And they make a morale check. And I can tell you it's not going to be good because they are B ranked 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They're dead. And the Confederates advance to the edge of the map. Which leaves these guys with 1 SP. Not really being able to do much. So they might just, I could have a look, it's the last turn for the Confederates. Let's try and do something, but what? If we drive at hooker, see what we can do with our huge morale modifiers, or do we rotate 1 and then go roll to close? Yep, A ranked. They'll come over here. Roll to close, charge. Yep, they succeeded in that. So they're going to charge this hex. Opening volley with 4 SPs. No column shifts. 6 is going to cause a morale check. They're going to be at -1. These guys are wrecked as well. So, sorry, +1 because of cowardly legs. +4, +5. Ooh, that's That's not good. They go, get out of there. They're rout, they take losses, they're gone. Hey, Stephen. And what can the leader do? Leader loss check. A 9 during the attacker charge is dead. So the replacement leader is dead as well. So look at this. It's the end of the final Confederate turn. They've had 2 lucky brigades advance all the way down. They rally, and they're not on the bloodlusted. They remove counter-battery fire markers, loss recovery at midnight, Union turn. Union orders, Union attack recovery, fluke stoppage, now their activity phase. And there are two Confederate Texan, sorry, they're Mississippi and Texan, Texas Brigade regiments behind their line. Actually, that's not the Texas Brigade, this is Law's Brigade. Apologies. Oh, got to clear them out, basically. How are we going to do that? Let's start with these guys shifting their facing, which I believe they can do because they're not in the frontal facing. 4 strength. Now this is interesting, when it's not in their frontal facing, what does that mean? They fire through the frontal facing, they can take fire from any direction. It creates a zone control, and each hex is adjacent to each of them. So no Zoc out their rear hex sides, basically. These guys went for a bit of a walk. So yeah, they can rotate freely, and they can either, I think they need to charge, because by charging, I guarantee a step loss that'll wreck the Mississippi regiment and really hurt their morale ratings. So I know that charging whilst already in the target hex is a -3 modifier. It's a B ranked unit, which is going to be tough. But does that apply? So this is a closing roll that I'm looking at. Does it apply if you're not in the zone of control? I have a feeling it may not. But where's the rule for this? Okay, so defender only takes 1 step SP if there are 4 or more attacking SPs. I think I've played that wrong as well. Something to keep in mind. You need 4 attackers to cause that automatic step loss. Yeah, so you still have to roll for charge. It doesn't say anything about where they're facing, basically. So in that case, because they're basically going to need 3 or more, -3. So if I roll a 5, it's reduced to 2. It'll be +1 because it's into the rear hex. So I need a 4 or more. It's only a 50% chance. And I don't get the automatic +1. It may be better, in fact, to fire into their rear. So we have 3 SPs firing, +2 because it's into their rear. Sorry, +2. 2 to the right brings you up to the 6 to 8 column. And a roll of 7 is going to cause a step loss, so that's okay. They are now wrecked and small and took fire to the rear. So they are A rated. Let's roll first what they get. An 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's going to hurt. That's actually going to disorganize them. They are going to go back 3 1, 2, 3, and take 2 losses. So they're down to 1. And they retreat right in front of that cannon. Yeah. Well, look, don't really need to finish them off. I just need to worry about hurting these guys. So I'm going to free, yeah. They heard you, Stephen, and they got a bit upset. And rotate the cannon. They can free rotate. It doesn't cost any movement points to change the facing of a battery. They are going to take a shot at this 1st Texan regiment. That's Napoleon at range 2. So it's not going to have a column shift. They're going to fire their dense canister for 2 shifts to the right. So we've still got 4. To the right gives us a column. A roll of 3 is terrible. It's just a morale check. Geez, that was a pretty critical roll. So they're being shot from the rear with artillery, so it's going to be +3, -4 for Hood. So it's 8, 7. They're fine. They survived that morale. Which one should be gone? I think that should be gone. Now we've now got this unit here. Those shaken and down to 1 step, they will have a go. They'll rotate. Again, this is not in the zone of control, so they can do this. This is a fire action. They'll take a shot as well. They are just 1 SP, and that's all. Oh, in the rear, 2 to the right, gives them 4 to 5. A roll of 8 on a 4 to 5 is a 1 result. They just need to survive on 1 SP. They need to make a morale check. So they've been shot. They're small, wrecked, +4, 5, -4. They survive. +5, -4, no. Wrecked, rear, small, +6, -4. A net +2 is 11. They're shaken. They go back to 1, 2. They lose 1 and they're eliminated. And that is it. So, geez, what a brutal, bloody scenario. So I think the scenario instructions, I think I read it there or elsewhere, that this was the charge of the Texas Brigade through the cornfield resulted in the highest brigade casualties. Is that right? Let me just double check if I did read it here. Maybe not. Oh yeah, yes. So its 82% loss rate of the 1st Texas was the highest loss of any regiment at one time in the entire war. That was these guys here, the 1st Texas. 82% loss rate. Again, losses in this system represent more than just casualties. It's stragglers, routing, and so forth, sort of shaking of formations. I could continue and wipe out this formation. It wouldn't take long, really. I could take a pot shot here with the 7th Wisconsin. Let's just run through that because they're still going. So it'd be 4, 5, 6, 7, no, so 4, 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3 at a range, 1 to the left. A roll of 4 will cause them a morale check. So they got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's going to kill them. All right. So they are eliminated as well. And the Union holds the field. And they did it all without having to really counterattack into the cornfield. They held their line. But you can interpret these orders how you want. But I guess my interpretation was hold their ground, defend that position, and don't advance further. Keeping in mind this is a section of what would be a broader line out to the left in particular. So folks, that is the end of that scenario. This is scenario 4.1, the charge of the Texas Brigade. That's a scenario again, just for your, it's 4.1. Next one is 4.2, the cornfield, a broader, bigger scenario that runs for 8 turns. Could those wrecked Confederates even have charged anyway? Can wrecked units charge? That's a good question. No, they can't. You've got to keep an eye on these things. Thanks. Thanks, Pony Rider. Yeah, so wrecked units cannot pass a closing roll if they're the top unit. There can be another unit on top. If they're wrecked, they can continue a charge once they've started and they become wrecked. Yeah. So I think Union small arms fire won the day, really. Numerical superiority. But yeah, look, as I said, this is my first experience into line of battle and none but heroes. Feel like I forgot a few things, like I just said, the status of wrecked units and charging and so forth, something to keep in mind for future. But for the most part, getting a roll on with charges and small arms fire. Yeah, I guess with the next scenario, we'll shift it up to the order system and begin to see how that all plays out and how that factors into everything. Yeah, thanks Cataclysm now for coming by. I'm going to wrap it up there, folks. The next video will, yeah, hopefully be that cornfield, and we'll see how that goes. It's the same sort of area. I think it extends out to the left. I'll have a read through and fill you all in shortly. All right, take care, folks.